Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV. My name's Bernie Weemers and we're coming to you live tonight from Sebring to bring you round 4 of the Skip Barber Monday Lights. The guys are out there at the moment qualifying, but I'd like to introduce my colleague, Alex McKellar. Welcome back, Alex.
Thanks, Bernie. Great to be here again. Thanks for having me. It's shaping up to be a really fantastic race tonight for round 4 of the Monday Lights Championship. Got a really strong field here tonight after overall this week being quite a poor participation week. We've got a field here to knock your socks off with an overall strength of field rating of over 3,200. It would be probably the 3rd strongest field for the entire week, including all the European strength of field races, so it's a really good opportunity for the local guys and our international visitors to score some great iRacing championship points, and also of course stake their claim for the Monday Night Light Championship.
Oh, it's a fantastic field. We have 3 splits tonight, folks, and we can see Enzo Cantor has made it back this week. Unfortunately, he missed it last week due to daylight saving changes, but he's corrected his watches, and here he is. We should also welcome back Ewan Nora-Lampy. He's one guy to keep an eye on tonight, Alex, and it's great to see him back running the Monday Lights.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Bernie. Fantastic to see Yuha back. I understand he's had some health concerns. I had the chance to race with him a couple of times during the week, and you can see his reputation is really justified. He built strongly through the races that I had with him, and was not only a great guy to race with a good bit of chat and banter as we went around, but a really strong finisher to races, and his results were outstanding as well. So it's fantastic to see him back to this championship, which he took out in the early seasons.
Yeah, he certainly did, and one thing to keep an eye on with these European drivers, folks, especially Ewa, they like to increase the pressure as the laps tick down. So expect, as this race goes through tonight, the tempo to pick up, and keep an eye on the front pack, because I guess, Alex, the trick of the game here is to break that slipstream if you can, and get a bit of a break.
Absolutely, Bernie. I think tonight you'll see one of a couple of things most likely. You could see a nice big pack of half a dozen cars, 4 to 6 cars racing away at the front, just biding their time for the last couple of laps. Or alternatively, the field spread out a bit more like it did last week into smaller groups. But I expect chances are we'll see a nice big bit of pack racing tonight, with action aplenty as we approach the final laps.
Yeah, and there's a lot of points to be played for tonight, folks. And speaking of points, let's have a look at this point score. After 3 rounds, it's definitely closing up. We've got Matthew Thomas still in the lead, but Luke Whitten just behind him on 85 points. 4 points the difference. Stefano Poloniato in 3rd on 77 points, and then Simon D. Chambers. He jumped up 6 spots last week. He's in 4th on 61 points. Then rounding out your top 5 is Mick Gray, sitting there on 53 points. But Enzo's got a bit of work to do there in 6th, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely he does. He's making his return after his unexpected week off last week. Great to see Simon Chambers up there in 4th spot. He's a regular 2nd split runner, so it shows that the way the points are spread through this series, you can really run up with the top guys there through consistent performances. So great to see him up there. It's a shame it doesn't look like Mick Gray's in the field tonight. I don't know whether that he got bumped out by the high strength of field, or maybe he's just had a night off, but that'll probably hurt him a bit, as the same with Stefano. He currently running 3rd, hasn't joined us again tonight, so that'll hurt his chances. He'll have to take this as a drop week.
Yeah, that's right, and I guess if they're in the 2nd split, they might be able to get some points, but they'd have to finish right up the pointy end, I think. But let's have a look at this weather, folks, because not that one, sorry. Oh my goodness, I'm all finger happy today. Touching the wrong buttons here. Okay, Sebring International Race Modified. We're actually running on pretty much a layout the Skip Barber training course uses, as far as I'm aware. We've got 9 turns here. Short track, 3 kilometres is the total length. The sky out there is overcast, wind speed 9 kilometres an hour, and a cool track temp of 25 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, that's very cool out here today, Bernie. You can see the times are hot. Conversely, as a result, Enzo's currently sitting on provisional pole with a 17.4. That's an outstanding time. With the track temps we've been seeing here up around the high 30s and 40s, you'd see most of the field struggling to get under 1 minute 19. But to see a 17.5 just tells you how good the track conditions are tonight for quick racing.
Oh, it certainly does, and I'm just seeing if we can see where Ewan Norolampi is. He's just coming across now to finish his final lap, and he's not in the top 10 at the moment, so he's really going to want to improve on this, and it doesn't look like, where has he come in? 10th position.
So Juha's a bit of an old stager, a bit of a gamesman. When I raced with him during the week, he actually left. Oh, he's just put a toe off in the dirt, and that's ended his run. I was just about to say he leaves his qualifying run really late. Just likes to see what times have been set, perhaps to what he can aim for. So he's actually just doing his second lap then, and he's put his back top tyre onto the dirt outside of toe. Unfortunately, his gamesmanship hasn't paid off for him there, and he'll be starting out of 10th by the looks.
Yeah, so a lot of work to do there for Ewan Norolampi, but we'll keep an eye on him though. We have, I think it's about 24 laps around here tonight, so the race will go pretty quickly, but there's going to be a lot of action if the last race had anything to go by.
Absolutely, I was watching that last race, and what we did see up there was a pack of 4 that were battling it out for a long period of time, and then that caused the 2, 5th and 6th to catch up, and then it was all tactics and games, and then towards the end of the race we saw it all work out, and what I'm hoping out of this is that we see something similar, a nice group of good strong drivers racing smart. You don't want to see any silly business going on until the end when the chips are all on the table and ready to go.
Yeah, exactly right, and we're using a bit of a different layout here tonight in the final corner. I actually prefer this layout, Alex, for the skippies. It just takes that crazy bumpy final hairpin out and makes it a bit more controlled.
Yeah, absolutely. The track is slightly modified. As you say, this is the winter home for the Skip Barber driving school. At the end of the long Ullman Straight, it's over a mile long in the old language. They've extended it out the old Sunset Bend, so what you get is quite a threshold braking passing opportunity, and probably the most busy location on the track as far as passing goes, and I'd expect to see action not only throughout the race but it really hot up at the end, because that's where the guys will be really looking to make the best of their passing opportunities.
Oh, definitely, it's going to be on. We can see the grid now, just gridding up, so let's go through this grid. So Enzo Cantor takes pole position, Matthew Thomas right behind him, and keep an eye on those two. Then we have Dennis Johansson out of third, Luke Whitten will start out of fourth tonight, and then we have Darryl Ridley out of fifth. Out of sixth, Kevin Henderson, followed by Anthony Mansorella. Nathan Davies out of eighth. Ninth will be Russell Clark. Ewan Norolampi starts out of 10th. Out of 11th is McDonald, followed by Robertson. Booker out of 13th. Browning will start out of 14th, and Willman out of 15th.
Yeah, just looking at the time there by Enzo, he's taken pole by 0.4 of a second there, just showing his class. I saw him run in the 2K Cup race this morning, our time. He finished in the top 10 after botching his pit stop, actually. Something we won't see here tonight because there's no need for pit stops. But yeah, that's a scorching time. When you think Matthew Thomas is currently running, in the top 5 for the iRacing Skip Barber Championship overall, and he's gapped in by 0.4. It's a great effort as we get ready to go.
Yeah, we're under starters orders now. We've got Green just waiting for him. We're underway here at Sebring, and it's a clean start, but wait till I get into the first turn here.
Absolutely, Bernie. What you'll find here is that turn 1 you could drive 6 buses through, but it really tapers down into turn 2 and 3, and really channels the cars in together, and it's where you'll see plenty of action, no doubt.
Yeah, it looks like a nice clean start, but they're funneling into this hairpin. So far, no incidents. We have Enzo Cantor in the lead, Matthew Thomas second, third is Dennis Johansson, fourth Luke Whitten, and rounding out your top 5 is Darryl Ridley, but he's under pressure now from Anthony Mansorella and Kevin Henderson.
Yeah, all the drivers will be trying to get through here as cleanly as possible. They don't want to jeopardise their chance of holding onto the draft from the car in front. You really get benefits from the draft the whole way through this track. So guys really want to hang on to it from start to finish, as the top 4 drivers look to have got a bit of a gap.
Yeah, and we can see them now coming down the back straight for the first time. Lampi's actually dropped 1 position. He's sitting in 11th at the moment. A lot of work to do, but Enzo's trying to make hay while the sun's shining, so to speak, and get that gap out.
He certainly is. You saw there was Matthew and Dennis not wanting to argue too much about that final corner, because they know, given half a chance, Enzo will be gone here and it'll be hard to catch him unless they work really well together. So they're trying to get their runs on the board as a team early before they start fighting it out amongst themselves towards the end.
Yeah, and we can really see the field splitting up into the little battle packs now. We're just seeing Lampi's up to 10th. As who's that running off? Is that Kevin Henderson?
Yeah, it's Kevin. He's held UR off after making a mistake, but it looks like UR's gone underneath him there into turn 2 into turn 3, which is it's good for UR. Qualifying poorly here really hurts you. It's a really, really hard battle to get back through the pack.
We've just had Nathan Davies also pull his car up. He's in the pits, so unfortunately Nathan's had a bit of a bad start here tonight.
That's a shame for Nathan. I seem to recall him having similar issues last week, so hopefully it's a short bad trot that he's having, and he can continue on with us next week. Yeah,
so as they come up the straight, 17 laps to go, and that's Ullman Straight, sorry folks, we can see Dennis Johansson tucking in behind Enzo. He doesn't want Enzo to get away, but they are dropping Matthew Thomas and Luke Whitten.
Yeah, Dennis has bridged that gap to Enzo. There's a chance that they might run away from Matthew and Luke, as they put about a second between them, which is about as far as the draft will help you here. Dennis is a really strong overseas driver from Scandinavian club, and of course Enzo from Italy. Those two guys will be trying to run away with our local event tonight, but I'm hoping that Matthew and Luke can give them a good run for their money.
And we're riding with Luke at the moment. He's really pushing it 2 wheels off into the dirt after turn 1, but he's kept it straight.
Yeah, he takes some really wide line into turn 2, but he'll be looking for a nice smooth run here as he comes into Le Mans curve onto the main straight, the main Ullman straight. He'll be trying to maximise the draft there of Matthew, and they're currently, as a pair, about 1.5 seconds behind Dennis, who's right fighting for the lead with Enzo now into turn 1. So they're really going to have to fight to bridge that gap now.
Yeah, we've got Dennis Johansson. He's taken the lead from Enzo, so let's see if he can make a move. But you're right, that gap is looking big. Oh, huge, isn't it? Matthew's trying to shake Luke here, but I think he needs to take Luke with him. And Darryl Ridley, well, he's being dropped off the back as well.
Yeah, he's 1.5 nearly behind as well. Enzo and Dennis worked well together there, although Enzo's retaken the lead now as they go through turn 1. Enzo just backed off a bit on the main straight, trying to work with Dennis to maximise their chance of breaking the draft. What they might do now is consolidate that gap, or alternatively, if they think they've got enough of a break, they'll battle it out. But because we know how much Enzo likes to lead, but I guess we'll see how it progresses over the remainder of the race.
Yeah. So what sort of a gap do you think they'd be looking at as a safe sort of gap?
Well, it depends on how hard they want to fight. Right now, they're only at 1.5 seconds in front of Matthew and Luke, who are rapidly trying to chase them. I'd suggest that they'd want at least 3 seconds to have any good battles. You can see Dennis didn't really push Enzo there into the final corner. He just sort of let him have his way. Didn't really use the draft too much. They're just trying to get some pace up, because anything less than about 2 or 3 seconds, more like the 3 mark, you're really going to bring those other guys back into play if you start battling really quickly.
Yeah, and we can see there as you're talking, Alex, Luke Whitten, he came up to third, but now Matthew's taken it back, so these two are battling amongst themselves. That's going to help Enzo and Dennis try to reach that, or bridge that, or create a bigger gap.
Yeah, that's right. they really don't want to be playing silly games at this point unless they've decided that they're going to just battle it out for third. Having said that, you've got Darrell there sitting in 5th place. He's only just about 1.7 seconds behind. Darrell's a really fast local driver. He'll be on them in a flash if they play silly games too much.
Yeah, and the other quick driver down there in 6 is Anthony Mansorella. And I tell you what, the depth of this field, we've got some big names fairly deep down in the field at the moment tonight.
Absolutely. Juha Noralampi, he's made his way up to 9th, passing Jason, although I see Jason's only just about half a second behind and certainly well within drafting range. Juha's got a gap then to Kevin Henderson of just under 4 seconds. I'd be surprised if Juha doesn't make a good dent in that over the course of the next few laps, and Kevin looks to be driving pretty much on his own at the moment, which is a shame. We won't have a drafting partner there to keep Juha at bay, but we'll see how that develops over the race.
Yeah, we've got 13 laps to go here tonight at Sebring, and it's definitely starting to heat up. At the moment, your top 5, Enzo Cantor battling it out with Dennis Johansson. They've got a gap now of about 2.1 seconds back to Luke Whitten and Matthew Thomas for 3rd and 4th. And then we have Darrell Ridley, and in 6th, close behind him, is Anthony Mansorella.
That's right, a very strong field there through the top 6. Looks like we have almost broken out into our second scenario here of smaller battle packs. I'd say the front 2, Dennis and Enzo, they're gone. They'll be very hard to catch unless they sort of make some big mistakes. We see Luke and Matthew having battles into the final corner. Having said that, Luke's done the smart thing there. He's pulled back in behind Matthew, trying again to cut that corner as much as they can without getting a slowdown penalty, and maximise their chances of catching the front 2, who, well, Dennis has pulled out on Enzo here. Looks like they might be starting those games and the battles into turn 1. Turn 1's an interesting corner. It looks like I said you can drive 6 buses through there, but the line in there is very deceptively difficult. You can find it very easy to run wide. Enzo did just there. He was on and off the throttle several times there trying to keep it on the track. It's an easy looking corner, but like many on this track, very deceptively difficult if you get off the main driving line.
Yeah, well, I found that corner's quite bumpy, and it tends to float you out towards the outside of that circuit. And as you said, if you are a bit offline, you're going to find that dirt pretty quickly.
Absolutely, Bernie. The whole track's really, it's built on an old airfield, as you say. They used to train the Flying Fortress crews here at the end of World War II, which the purpose-built airfield was designed for that initially. But what you find as a result, not only do you get these mile-long straights, they're made out of concrete. There's no camber here to help you through the corners, as Enzo lets the back end go wild through the last corner. Dennis just let him have it there and looks to draft him back through the main straight here across the start-finish line. But what you find is you've got no camber. It doesn't help you with grip here. It's very flat, and so once the back end goes, it's gone.
Yeah, and speaking of gone, Juha Noralampi is in all sorts of trouble down here. Having a look at the replay, he's got severe panel suspension damage. He's actually done it by the looks of it in turn 1.
Oh, I'm just trying to find that now. Sorry, Bernie. He does look to be grabbing a lot, as you say. He looks to have copped some damage there in that incident. He'll no doubt be visiting the pits for sure, because you can't drive around through that. Yeah, if I look at it now, Kevin and he have had a coming together into turn 1. Looks like Kevin might have outbraked himself on the inside and run up the side of Juha there and caused that incident, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's bad luck for Juha. He'll be joining Nathan Davies in the pits, and it looks like Nathan has retired from tonight, unfortunately. And they've all got fast repairs here that they can use, and I think that's the second retirement for Nathan in 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I think he went out last week as well, just sort of lit over unexpectedly. I don't know whether he got a phone call or something, but the same thing might have happened to him again tonight. He just looks to have pulled it over the side and retired, unfortunately. The leaders up front are still nose to tail, only a tenth between them. It's really good driving to be able to run that closely together without incident.
Certainly is, as we jump on the nose cam of Dennis Johansson and tucked up underneath Enzo here. I guess it's been a long time since I've raced this circuit. When these laps come down, is there any benefit in leading this race, or is it the usual try to sit in second and maximise that slipstream down Ullman Straight?
Well, the benefits I see to leading, I mean, I like sitting in second, but more and more I'm sort of coming around to the idea of being in front, because you're in front, you don't have to make the pass, I guess. You also have the choice of where you want to put your car. So as we see Dennis and Enzo come up the main straight now, Dennis is using the draft and he's backing off, but you know, if it come down to the last lap or so, you'll find Enzo will position his car where he wants to defend the corner, which he's got every right to do, and I guess that's the biggest benefit of being in front. Plus, you know where the passing opportunities are, and you can maximise your chance of taking it out whilst in front.
We've just lost Luke Whitten and Matthew Thomas. Have come together down Ullman Straight. We're just jumping back to that replay now. We could see Matthew was weaving across the circuit there to try to break the draft, and unfortunately they've come together.
Yeah, I'm just watching that now, Bernie. He's gone, moved over. Oh, he's sort of he's balked at Luke there, Matthew. Luke went to move onto the inside, and Matthew sort of went with him, and they've just had a bit of a clumsy coming together as a result, unfortunately. It looks like they'll both be visiting the pits, and their competitive night's over, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a huge blow to their point standings. It did look pretty awkward, didn't it? Because as Luke jumped out, Matthew also jinked, and they just caught wheels.
Yeah, it was probably a bit late for Matthew to make move once Luke had pretty much committed to it. You could see sort of Luke tried then to go back to the left as an instant reaction, but unfortunately, as you say, just a little bit clumsy, particularly on a straight like that, as we see Dennis go up the inside of Enzo and they're fighting it out over the line with 9 laps to go.
Yeah, well, the gap they've got at the moment is over 4.5 seconds, so no doubt they will know the two behind them have crashed out, so trigger the battle for first and second.
Absolutely, they've got that 4.5 second lead over Darryl now, who's kindly been handed a podium position at this stage. They're free now to battle as much as they want. I would imagine now the guy in front, who's Enzo, will be watching for where Dennis is looking to attack him, or he knows the key locations at least. But Dennis will be just trying to measure out his run on Enzo. He knows most likely it'll be into the final sunset bend out of the Ullman Straight, but he's just going to be biding his time, maybe trying to put the nose up here and there and see if he can't unsettle Enzo a bit.
Yeah, we can see now Enzo just weaving across the circuit there to try to break that slipstream, and Dennis just tucking in, following him through. They're actually coming up to lap Matthew Thomas here, who unfortunately had to get that car repaired after that incident.
Yeah, it's a shame for Matthew. He's actually running in the top 5 of the Skip Barber iRacing season overall. This looks to be his second or third race of the week, so he will no doubt secured good iRacing championship points, but it certainly doesn't do much for his Monday Lights championship hopes.
No, it certainly doesn't, and he's going to take a big hit on points here tonight, and so will Luke Whitten. Luke was looking good coming into this, but he's sitting in 7th, so I guess he will get some points tonight.
Absolutely. We scored all the way down to 12th, so Matthew's currently sitting at 14th, so he's got a couple of people to pass in Yuha and Russell Clark if he hopes to score points. I'd suggest that Yuha will be a tough out, but particularly given he's 12 seconds behind. Yeah, so Luke I would suggest in 7th. He'll still get a hatful of points and close the gap significantly from Matthew, who will probably see this as a drop round.
Yeah, we can see Luke there now battling with Kevin Henderson for 6th position. And one person we haven't seen much of tonight, Mark McDonald. That's a new name to this series. I think he's sitting up there in 5th, and he's got quite a nice gap at the moment back to Kevin Henderson. And the live gap's about 1.6 seconds.
Yeah, he's doing well. I mean, I think I had a race with Mark during the week. He raced strong enough. He's got an I rating of just over 3,200, so he's obviously a strong competitor. I imagine he'll be looking to hold out Luke and Kevin, who are chasing him down, to secure some good points. I might message him after and see if he knows much about our series and if he's keen to keep going. So it's always great to have some new international talent joining us.
Certainly is, and he's doing a fantastic job out there. And I tell you what, to be running fifth in a field of this quality is a huge effort, and it says a lot for his driving ability.
Absolutely, he's running clean, and he hasn't picked up. He's only picked up the one incident point so far, so a minor off track, which means he's keeping his nose clean and just running good laps. So that'll be a great result for him first start out.
You can see now Enzo's pulled out a bit of a gap on Dennis. It's out to 7/10 of a second last time through. The live, yeah, still sitting on 7/10 of a second. So I guess if Enzo can get this out to just over 1 second, he should start breaking that slipstream.
Absolutely, that's correct. And although the front straight there has helped Dennis a little bit, he's back to in 0.6, and he'll try and close that down into turn 2 here as they approach it. Enzo really obviously trying to shake Dennis down the main straights, and through the curvy bits really is where he'd make your most time, but he's doing well if he can shake Dennis, because Dennis is a high quality driver, a really strong fast guy.
Yeah, and at the moment they're lapping. The last lap was a 1:17.073, and I'm just having a look. The fastest lap we've had out there actually goes to Dennis Johansson. He did a 1:16.999 last lap through.
That's crazy fast, Bernie. I don't recall seeing any 1 minute 16 second laps this week, so combined of good driving, good track conditions has resulted in that, and Dennis again, I imagine he might even pip at this lap. He's used that draft pretty effectively, although he's slipped through that final corner a little bit too much, might have washed a bit of speed off, but he's keeping in touch with Enzo here. He'll be trying with 5 laps to go, 4 as they cross the line, to bridge that gap, stay in touch and make his move towards the last lap or so.
Yeah, and it's counting down very quickly here, isn't it? As we see Dennis drifting the car through the corner, and having a look on the inside of Enzo. Enzo covers. It's going to. It's definitely going to start heating up now.
Absolutely. So Dennis has really bridged that gap. He's used the draft effectively there. He's now within half a second of Enzo. He'll just be biding his time for the remainder before he can line up his shot, and hopefully. It'll be a clean bit of action through to the finish as we look for a great result here.
Certainly will, and it looks like Dennis had got a better exit off Lamar curve onto Ullman Straight here, and he's got a run.
Yeah, he's moved over to the inside now. They'll be hitting their braking marker just after the 3rd cone here. As he turns on the inside, you take a lot out of this corner. You can afford to cut it quite a bit without getting a slow down. Enzo's done well to keep his pace on the outside of Dennis there. He's got no benefit of the draft here, but he's managed to hold a great deal of pace here, and he'll have the inside run into the wide turn 1.
Yeah, that was great driving there by Enzo, wasn't it? And he takes the lead back again, and Dennis has it all to do, but Dennis has got a great run. He's going to be on the outside of the hairpin though.
Yeah, tough to pass through here with Enzo on the inside line. I think that was a real rehearsal for the final lap with 3 to go. Dennis now realised how hard it's going to be to get past Enzo there. Enzo stuck it on the outside, maintained really good speed through to the line, so realistically Dennis knows that he hasn't got it guaranteed if he goes down the inside there, so shapes up for a really good finish.
Oh, it certainly does, and Enzo's got a better exit out and more onto Ullman Straight now, but now we can see this slipstream. What's going to happen? Enzo's letting him have a look on the inside.
Yeah, Enzo's not too worried. He knows there's 3 laps to go. He would have got a lot of confidence out of last lap, knowing that he can take it around the outside and still get through. See, Dennis has to slow a lot more than Enzo there, because he has to take a tighter line, which allows Enzo again to get a great run out of that corner and actually lead it into the finishing line on this lap, having gone around the outside of Dennis there. That would give him a great deal of confidence and have Dennis really scratching his head at this stage.
Yeah, well, Dennis is thinking, what do I have to do to win this? He knows if he goes on the inside, Enzo's got the speed to hold him even on the outside, and Dennis is going to have a lot of work to do if he wants to win this tonight.
Absolutely. You really do compromise your final run when you go on the inside through that final corner, but it's really your best passing opportunity on the whole circuit. So I'm sure Dennis is having some quizzical looks in the cockpit there, but as we line up for the Ulmann Straight again, they're going through Le Mans now into the Ulmann Straight. 2 laps, 2 times passed again. Let's see what he does this lap.
So the penultimate lap here, we can see Dennis is now tucking in. Be interesting to see if he tries to hold in, which he's going to have a dive now.
Yeah, again, he left that one a bit late. He's left Enzo out there nice and wide. Enzo's now on the racing line more so than Dennis, and once again, got excellent drive out of the corner, and he'll cross the line with 1 lap to go, still leading the race.
So at this point, Enzo must feel like he's in complete control of this race as we get the last lap board now. So it's Enzo Cantor, Dennis Johansson battling it out for round 4 of the Skip Barber Monday Lights.
Yeah, quite surprising that Dennis didn't have a look through turn 1 there. He's really putting all his eggs in that final corner basket, which, given he hasn't had much luck there so far, is an interesting tactic, but also a relatively smart one, because you're not going to blow your race, even if you don't win it, by trying that pass at the last turn. He's left the rear of the car out there through the S-bends there. As he turns through Le Mans now, he's looking to get a really good run. He's put the tyres out, and I've got to tell you, Bernie, that's going to compromise any draft that he did get, as we see Enzo pull over to the right-hand side of the track. He's going defensive this time. The draft's really kicking in now as we come into the final bend.
Yeah, I think Enzo's just not going to have the legs on him to do this. Dennis, he's right on him now. He's going to have to get a really good run, because we know Enzo's awesome out of this part of the track.
Yeah, Enzo's got the drive here again. The draft's going to kick in, but it's probably going to be too little too late for Dennis, as Enzo looks to take out another great victory here on Monday Night Lights.
Yeah, fantastic win there. Enzo Cantor first, Dennis Johansson second. We've got Darryl Ridley coming home in third, followed by Anthony Mansarella fourth. Fifth, it looks like Kevin Henderson holding out, Mark McDonald, and then Luke Witten comes in 7th position.
Yeah, look, while we were watching Enzo and Dennis there, it looks like we missed Kevin making his move on Mark. He's bridged that gap and managed to get past Mark that we were speaking about before. Jason Willman now has crossed the line in 8th place, as John Booker, another new starter I haven't seen before, has finished in 9th.
It looks like we've had a bit of an engine blow up there. I'm not sure who did that. It was after the line, but quite a lot of smoke out there at the start-finish line.
Yeah, I think Luke was just exercising his frustration a bit there at how the race went. I could hear the revs going quite solidly over the line. I think he's just made a bit of extra work for his mechanics out of frustration, to be honest there, Bernie.
Yeah, well, he was having such a good run, wasn't he, up until that incident with Matthew. But where did he come in? He ended up getting some points. He finished 7th. Matthew Thomas, after that incident, came home in 13th.
Yeah, unfortunately Matthews missed out on points there. I don't think either of them actually ended up pitting as a result of that incident, which has allowed Luke to hold on to 7th. No way in this quality of field that you could hold that sort of position having pitted. As we see Juha, who did have to pit, he's back in 12th. He's managed to snag some points for the week for his return to Monday Night Lights, which is great. I'm really hoping we get to see more of Juha and we get to see more of him up the front.
Oh, definitely. Once he gets back into the rhythm of the Skippy, I think we'll see him definitely moving up there. But here's your final results, folks, so you can see where your favourite driver finished. Enzo Cantor takes out round 4 tonight at Sebring, followed by Dennis Johansson. Threw everything he could at Enzo, he just didn't have it in the end. Darryl Ridley comes home third, followed by Anthony Mansarella. Kevin Henderson takes Mark McDonald for fifth position. Mark having a good race there, coming home sixth. Luke Whitten gets some points back in seventh. Jason Willman eighth. Booker comes home in ninth, and Robertson rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, I was just reading some of the chat in the server there, Bernie. Looks like Luke had his chat off, and Matthews called him through on the straight to pass on the left, and because he didn't have his chat on, he's missed the call, and as we saw, they had a bit of a clumsy coming together. That's unfortunate. They were both trying to do the right thing, I think, and just had an unfortunate incident as a result. That's a real shame for them.
Yeah, we'll have another look at that in a moment. Russell Clark comes home 11th, Ewell Norilampi 12th, 13th Matthew Thomas, and then Vince Browning down one lap. Nathan Davies, our only retirement tonight.
Yeah, good to see everyone finishing the race with the exception of Nathan. I think everyone comes here to race hard and clean, and there's a real community built around this race, and the guys really enjoy coming to it. So good to see some good performances put in tonight.
Oh, it definitely is, and I'm just going back to this incident we saw. I think it was around about, yes, it was lap 14. We're actually going to jump on board with Luke Whitten and just see what he saw as this incident unfolded.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it now. Sorry, Bernie, but from what I remember of it at the time, he's pulled in behind Matt. And at the last second, it turns out that Matt's called him through on the left, according to the server chat. And that's caught Luke on the hop, and he sort of made move to come back to the left, but unfortunately collected Matt on the way through, and they've both gone off, sort of spoiling their night, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm just trying to queue it up here, folks, but I'm having no luck here. We might have to go to interviews while I find this.
Yeah, Tip, it's on lap 8, mate.
Okay, I think I've got it.
Yeah, so I'm just watching it through now, and Matthew's more or less more in the centre of the straight than you would expect normally. He does move over to the left over to the right to give Luke through the run on the left, and unfortunately they've come together. Look, the intent there was right. If you're chasing down that front pack, what you want to do is let the guy build as much momentum as he can in the toe to get through, maximise his speed, and then that way you kind of leapfrogging each other to try and maximise the speed to catch the pack in front. And that can work really well for you if the pack in front's not racing smart, but unfortunately they've had the incident tonight.
Yeah, they certainly have, and we saw that in live speed, and you can see it almost looked like, dare I say it, Tander jinking on the back of Whincup there, but maybe we shouldn't go there.
Oh, wasn't that a bit controversial? Great action, I'm sure, for the folks at home at that one as well, but tell you what, there would have been some sheep stations riding on that one too.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, let's bring up our race winner. That's Enzo Cantor. Hi Enzo, welcome to RRTV. Congratulations winning round 4 of the Skip Barber Monday Lights. Tell you what though, you didn't have it all your own way. Dennis Johansson was definitely putting the pressure on you tonight.
Hi guys, thank you. Yeah, it was a nice victory. I'm very happy because yes, I tried to go away from the first laps, but Dennis Johansson, you know, is a very strong and constant driver, so he made me so much pressure every lap. I know his pace was a little bit slower than mine, but you know, in this track the draft is so important. But I'm so happy because I defended very well all his attacks in the last corner, and today I was able to keep focusing on the race all the time.
Yeah, it was definitely excellent racing, and we noticed in that last corner, as you're just saying, you seemed to be able to hold your speed on the outside there, so that must have given you a lot of confidence with a couple of laps of the race to go.
Yes, this week I was so confident, but this week I didn't have so much time to practice. You know, I have a child from September 28th, so no time to practice, and you can believe me, but in the I did only 2 races yesterday, and no one attacked me in that point. So I was not sure to maintain my speed on the external line, and it will be the possibility to hit the wall exiting the corner, you know. And I tried it the first time, it worked, and I did it all the laps, and it worked fine. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I'm going to hand you over to Alex McKellar, and I'm sure he's got some more questions for you.
Yeah, firstly, Enzo, welcome back, mate. I'm sorry you missed last week, more to the timing issues than the good news you had. Congratulations on the birth of your son, mate. Really happy for you there. I was, like Bernie, I was really impressed with the driving line you took through out of that last corner. I've done a bit of racing here this week, and I haven't seen many people be able to get that drive out of that last corner, so maybe the lack of practice helped you there, I think, because having to try it in the race, mate, that's a really impressive piece of work. Well done.
Thank you. Well, perhaps it was not a lack of practice, but you know, I have my child on the car, so I cannot hit the wall because it could be damaged. So I have to stay away from the walls, and he has fun, and so I'm joking. Obviously, he's sleeping now, but what I can say in this season, you know, the ski Barber has been modified from some parameters, and at the beginning I was not so confident with the car, but race by race I have to say that I like the car so much than the last season, and I have the impression of I feel the car very well, and I can manage it also in difficult corners with loss of traction, and I think the car is very better than the last season.
Well, that's great to hear, mate. Also great to see you get an excellent result. Looks like you had a tough run with a mistake in your pit stop in the 2K Cup earlier today. I was really pleased for you to have a good result tonight, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yesterday I was so stupid. Well, I have to wait to see my first victory in 2K. I hope to catch it in this season.
Yeah, congratulations on tonight's victory, mate. Well done.
Thank you again.
Yeah, so before we let you go, Enzo, did you want to give a shout out to your sponsors tonight?
Yes, thank you. Give me this space. As always, I have to thanks to all my sponsors, Trustmaster, TRL, and Cube, and perhaps I'm forgetting someone, but surely my teammate Fabio Mantellini. It is not a very good period for him, so this victory is for him and for the team and my teammates.
Fantastic, and well done once again. Hopefully we'll see you back here next week.
Yeah, surely. If my child wanted, I would be here again.
No worries. We'll see you then. Yeah, typical racing driver Alex. He's joking about carrying the baby with him in the car. It's
I thought he was serious there for a second, that he'd suddenly modified his paint scheme with a picture of the bub on the outside. That'd keep you off the walls for sure. That gave me a good giggle, actually.
Yeah, me too. I was actually going to go back to his car and check it out until he said he was joking, but I think he was actually saying he was driving with the baby in the car. But anyway, all jokes, the baby's asleep and safe and sound, folks, so don't panic there. Our next interview, Anthony Manzarella. He had a fairly quiet race, but fourth position, so I might bring him up, and if you want to have a chat with him, Alex, that'd be great.
Sure. G'day, Anthony. Alex McKelly here, mate. Looks like you had a good race again tonight with a top 4 finish, albeit a somewhat quiet one by the looks. How did you find the racing out there?
Yeah, hey guys, how you going? Yeah, definitely a bit of a quiet one, Alex. Didn't get much practicing this week, to be honest, so I was a bit up behind the 8 ball compared to the faster guys, but as you could tell, bit of carnage ahead of me, and got gifted the 4th place, so I'll take that for the points, definitely, for this week.
Yeah, that's a good result, all things considered. If you're lacking a bit of practice, how have you found Sebring in the time that you've been here? I mean, I did some racing here. I found it quite flat, lack of camber and a bit of grip made it far more challenging than first take.
Yeah, it depends on the weather for me. Like, I did the race beforehand. It was, I think it was 35-degree track temp or something like that. So the car struggled, or I struggled, to be honest. And then given that this race was a cooler temperature, it made it a lot more grip. I found the car handled much better through the corners. But I don't know where I'm losing time around this track. I haven't raced here much, so it might be just lack of practice, to be honest, and just not enough laps under my belt.
Yeah, well, considering that fact, mate, you've done really well to bring it home in 4th. I'll just hand you over to Bernie for a chat.
Yeah, well done, Anthony. It was a very high strength of field out there. I think Alex was saying it was over 3,000 tonight. So, how did you find going up against all those guys tonight? Were you fairly comfortable with it, or did you find the pace a bit too quick?
Oh, look, I was comfortable. Obviously, you guys would have seen I had a lonely race trying to catch up to Daryl, but I mean, I had not an accident. I had a bit of a slide come into the back straight, which, I lost the draft and I couldn't stay with him up towards that, so I couldn't really get any pace out of the car. But I mean, I prefer the bigger races. It makes more of a challenge. You want to push all the time towards the end, so I'll just hopefully get a track that I like, so I can keep up with them and have a good race.
Yeah, well, you definitely did tonight, that's for sure, and 4th position was a fantastic result, and especially with the level of field, that's for sure. So what went through your mind when you saw Luke and Matthew coming together?
I probably thought, this is great, but at the same time, I didn't want it to happen. Them two have always been battling for the last couple of seasons. I've raced with Luke since probably the start of the year, and to be honest, he's gotten so much more pace out of the car, and his speed just improved dramatically. So, congratulations to him anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Them two always are battling hard, and it happens. Look, I don't know. I didn't watch the replay. I didn't see exactly what happened, but I just saw them get tangled up on the back straight, and yeah, unfortunately, that's just how it goes sometimes. But I saw Luke apologise to Matthew, so I'm sure he would have taken no hard feelings.
Yeah, they're definitely having a great battle. But anyway, Anthony, before we let you go, do you want to give a shout out to all your sponsors?
Yeah, just like to thank MPMS Racing Simulators, Logitech Gaming, RT, GTI, Maverick Welding, and MS Limited. And also, Bernie, I didn't get to do that shoey for you. I just thought second thoughts, and I was just like, nah, I don't think I'll take it on.
Yeah, you catch a disease if you did, you know that.
Yeah, no, also maybe if I won against Enzo, then I would. But yeah, I don't know. I'll think twice about it.
Okay, folks, you heard that here first from Anthony Manzarella. If he beats Enzo, we're going to get a shoey.
That's correct.
I'll hold you to that. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, then I have to put it on Facebook and everyone can see it.
Yep, and then I'll rebroadcast it on the channel, and you'll be famous, or more famous.
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
No worries. Well, thanks, Anthony, and good luck with that shoey when that happens later in the year.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys, again. Appreciate the broadcasting. Great job. I look forward to looking at the replay. Cheers.
So that was Anthony Mantarella for Evolution Racing Australia, come home in fourth. Just having a look at the fastest lap here, Alex, and it went to Enzo Cantor with a 1:16.918.
That's impressive considering, he's done that from in front, so he hasn't had the benefit of the draft. Because we saw Dennis had the fastest lap there for a while. That's outstanding effort. When he said, he felt he had the pace on Dennis. He was pretty spot on, really. I was really fascinated to hear that Enzo's coming to grips with the car. I know that a lot of the older, quicker guys were struggling a bit with the changes, or at least said that they didn't like them. Me, who hasn't been in the car perhaps as long as someone like Enzo, I've made the transition perhaps a little bit easier and really have enjoyed the car this season. But it was really interesting to hear that Enzo has made the transition now and is feeling better in the car. So we can look forward to a lot more hot racing here on Monday Night Lights.
Oh, that's for sure. And the last lap Enzo did was a 1:17.131 compared to Dennis's 1:17.219. And even Matthew Thomas's last lap was a 1:17.284. So some pretty hot laps out there tonight.
Absolutely, Bernie. The track conditions were really good, and Anthony spoke to that a little bit. The guys would have felt like they had a ton more grip than they've been used to in many of the sessions this week. As I said previously, some of the general track temps have been up around the high 30s, low 40s. To come out on a low 20 to 25 degree track, you're just going to feel like you've got slicks on almost in this car, and hence we see a really great set of lap times there. It was good to see.
Yeah, it certainly was, and let's have a look at this point score, and we'll attempt to see how this is going to look, but we'll get the official point scores later on this evening. One winner out of tonight will be Enzo Cantor. We can expect to see him move up. Mick Gray, well, he wasn't here tonight, so he'll probably move down. The biggest loser out of there probably tonight would have probably been Matthew Thomas. He was leading coming into tonight, but we'll have to wait and see how it shakes up. He may still be... Oh, it's going to be close. Let's wait till next week anyway, folks, but it's going to be a battle between Matthew and Luke on who's leading.
Yeah, absolutely. I just doing some quick sums in my head, or rough sums. Matthew will drop probably to second behind Luke. Mick will drop out of the top five, having unless he was in the second split. I haven't checked yet. Enzo, I imagine, well, he'll shoot up. He'll probably jump into the top three. In fact, he'll most likely be in the top three, bumping Stefano, who didn't race tonight, unless again he was in the second split. So I expect a bit of shuffling around. Matthew won't be hurt too badly. We get 4 drop rounds, so whilst he's not on the top of the tower at the moment, he's still got plenty of opportunity to come back hard.
Yeah, and Enzo's going to have quite a large gap there to try to pull in as well. And we were talking about that a few rounds ago, and even back then he had to get a lot of points each round, didn't he? To catch, I think it was Matthew by about round 10. I think we predicted.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this week will help, obviously, with Matthew not scoring any points, and maximum points to Enzo for the win, and the bonus point for pole position. So that'll certainly help his championship chances.
Yeah, so this just about wraps up tonight's coverage of this Monday Night Skip Barbers, folks. But if you like your racing, tune in to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Redback Racing TV, and you can find out when our next coverage is. I think, don't quote me on it, but I think we have the Australian Endurance Championship this weekend, in which case it'll be the Coda 6 hour. So keep an eye on our Facebook for exact times of those broadcasts. But as always, Alex, it's been a pleasure having you up here, mate, and it was a great race. It went by quicker than I anticipated, but it was fun all the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me again, Bernie. I'll tell you, I was a bit frantic up here tonight. Despite having just the two guys that were really dominating the show, I found it hard to keep all my thoughts together. We're off to the Green Monster next week, the Nordschleifer. I think we've got our work cut out between us, mate, with all the corners and stuff in there. I don't think I'm holding out much hope of remembering it all, but I guess we'll see how we go.
Yeah, we'll just say left hand, right hand, whatever. We'll work it out.
Yeah, that's right. I'm, either that or I'll be doing homework every night this week.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, folks, that ends our broadcast for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up or let your friends or family know, or anyone interested in sim racing, let them know about our channel and get them to have a look as well. But on behalf of Alex McCullough, I'm Bernie Weemers, and I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and wish you all a good evening.